I never wanted to be a hero. I never wanted my name in lights or a statue in the town square. I just wanted my family to have everything I didn't have, growing up in a drafty trailer park with a father who drank his entire paycheck before he even made it home. My first rig was a rusted-out 1994 Peterbilt I bought with every cent I had. It leaked oil like a wounded animal, and the heater rarely worked. I still remember Sarah, my wife, helping me turn wrenches in the freezing rain in our muddy driveway. Her hands were covered in black grease, and her hair was matted against her forehead, but she was smiling. She believed in me when nobody else did. We had big dreams back then. A real house with a porch, a green yard, vacations by the sea, and a quiet retirement watching the sunset together. So I started driving. I told myself it was temporary, just a few more runs, just one more season to get ahead. But the road is a greedy mistress. It starts small, a week away. Then it becomes 2, then a month. Before I knew it, the cramped cab of that truck became my real home, and the house I was paying for became just a place where I parked my car twice a year. The smell of diesel fumes, stale coffee at 3 a.m. from a plastic cup, and that endless white line under the high beams became my entire world. Night after night, the hum of the engine was the only lullaby I knew. I convinced myself I was doing it all for them. Every heavy load I hauled through the treacherous Rockies in a blizzard, I thought of the money I sent home every Friday. I truly believed that a fat bank account could replace a father's hug or a husband's hand in the middle of a lonely night. I was a provider, wasn't I? That's what a man does. But I was wrong. Dead wrong. Time doesn't wait for a man in a truck. It doesn't care about your fuel stops or your logbook. The kids grew up while I was somewhere outside of Ohio or crossing the lonely passes of the Alps in the dead of winter. My daughter took her very first steps while I was fighting for a parking spot at a crowded truck stop, staring at a static-filled TV screen in the lounge. My son started school while I was stuck in a 3-day border queue, eating a cold sandwich and listening to the rain hit the roof. Every time I finally pulled into that driveway, they looked at me like a stranger. I wasn't Dad anymore. I was just some tired, dusty man who smelled of exhaust, a guest who brought expensive toys to buy their affection, and then slept for 18 hours because I was bone-tired and hollow inside. Sarah and I gradually became 2 ghosts under the same roof. The laughter died out first, replaced by a suffocating silence. We stopped talking about our dreams. We talked only about bills and repairs. I saw the light slowly leaving her eyes every time I packed my bag for another long run. I saw her fading away, bit by bit, like an old photograph left in the sun for too long. She needed a partner, not a paycheck. She needed someone to hold her hand when the house felt too quiet and the shadows grew long at night. And I wasn't there. I was 1,000 miles away, chasing a horizon that never seemed to get any closer no matter how fast I drove. Then came that one Tuesday. The rain was pouring down, cold and relentless, just like the day we fixed that first truck together. I pulled into the driveway with a strange, cold dread in my heart. I walked inside, expecting the warm smell of dinner or the sound of the news, but the house was dead silent. It was freezing. I walked into the kitchen, and there was no one there. No toys on the floor. No shoes by the door. Only a single, plain white envelope sitting precisely in the middle of the wooden table we had bought together. She was gone. She took the kids, the dog, and the entire life I thought I was building. The note didn't say much, but it said everything. It just said, "We waited long enough, Joe. We don't need the money. We needed you." Now, I finally have everything I ever dreamed of. The big house is paid off, and it's the quietest place on earth. I have more money in the bank than I can ever spend. I have a brand new, powerful rig with heated leather seats and a top-of-the-line engine. But there's absolutely no one in this house to share any of it with. I sit in this expensive kitchen, and my life is just a heavy, ringing silence, broken only by the mechanical hum of the refrigerator. I look at an old, crumpled family photo from 10 years ago, back when Sarah was still laughing, back when the kids were small enough to fit in my arms. I traded them for the road. I traded their smiles for overtime pay and the roar of a diesel engine. And now, my road leads to nowhere. I'm just a man sitting alone in an empty room, realizing far too late that the most